Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you love these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. Today we are discussing the Omega Seamaster Aqua Terra Golf, the first generation Aqua Terra Golf with the sheer guards on the profile and the 41.5mm case. I have never showcased the watch on this Omega factory NATO strap, so I'm showing you a watch that will look different on your wrist than anything I've featured in the past here, even if it's the same reference. So the watch is transformed by a NATO strap, and as you can see on my 16cm circumference wrist, you would definitely want to cut the strap after sizing it. If your wrist is like mine, and I recommend this watch for wrists as small as 14cm circumference, you're probably going to wind up tucking, sizing, and then cutting the strap. If you want to be a badass, burn the end. That looks hardcore. Now the timepiece is comfortable and it is nicely seated. It's not excessively thick, though the strap makes it more so. The basic watch is 13.3mm thick, but with the strap, the stack height is 16.1mm. Lug-to-lug, it's a wearable 48.5, and the spacing between the lugs, if maybe you don't want to go full NATO all the time, is 20mm if you'd like to accessorize. Now I'm going to take the strap off. It is difficult to poise these watches on straps like this without just buckling them in total and fixing them to the wrist, because they tend to flare out and fight. And that's part of the experience of wearing a watch on a NATO strap. It does have a little bit of stiffness, especially around the lugs, where you can only pull it down so much. It does want to flare out. And because there is a little bit of an underslung profile, the strap adds to the effective thickness of the watch on the wrist. So the NATO doesn't just change the look, it does change the feel and the ergonomics of the watch. But the Omega factory NATO is a legend. Way better than any service issue in any military. You can see not only is it branded with metal minders, but it has a handsome contrasting border in a sort of metallic gray or anthracite outboard of the textile black centers. There's even an Omega pin buckle, so you don't have to worry about a conventional NATO binding when sizing it and strapping it down. You can see how it really does add to the thickness, and since you've seen the strap, I'm now going to take it off the watch, because frankly I think in order to get the most out of the review, you need to be able to see the case back of the watch, and I've gotten decently good at dismembering these NATO-clad Omegas in real time on video. So I'm going to show you the preferred technique for taking these down and for removing them when showing off your watch to your friends at the local watch club meeting or at dinner. Denude your watch of the strap and you can see the movement underneath, but we're going to talk about the case first. It's a standard Omega Seamaster / Speedmaster case. This lyre style lug flared bevel sheer side satin sided case band has been a feature of Omega professional style and even non-professional style sports watches since the mid-1960s. You can see pre-2017 there was a little bit of a revetment for the crown so that it had a bit of a sheer guard. It was positioned without those guards in a slightly smaller 41 versus 41.5 scene here. I actually prefer the older look. It seems a bit beefier, a bit more sporting, and I do like the sheer guard for the crown. I think it's functionally worthwhile. The dial itself features a vertical Teak deck concept, again another feature pre-2017. Now the Teak deck is from 9 to 3, back then it was from 12 to 6. Flourishes of green, my favorite color, this one would be my choice. There's also a model with orange flourishes, and I love orange watches, but not when green is on the table. The dial isn't quite black, it's a very dark anthracite gray. All of the indices are applique. The Omega logo and the Omega marquee are both applique, and there's a broad arrow style or vintage inspired minute hand. The caliber 8500 does feature a time zone functionality, so if you screw out the crown, and it is a screw down crown, you can move the hour index independently of the other hands, and you can see how it continues to keep minutes and seconds. I can even use it to adjust the date as I travel east or west over the international date line. Of course, when I pull it out all the way, I do have hacking seconds or stop seconds. Now I can set everything in sync. You'll note 150 meters water resistant. It is a coaxial, it is a chronometer. The coaxial means it has the tri-level tangential escapement or tangential contact escapement as conceived by George Daniels of England and industrialized and perfected by Omega. Omega of BOBN Switzerland. You'll also note full balance bridge with a free spring index for shock resistance, SI14 silicon hairspring for anti-magnetism, COSC certified Swiss chronometer adjusted in 5 positions, and it does feature twin mainspring barrels coupled in series for a 60-hour power reserve and superb amplitude from max wind to minimum wind. So the only weakness of a modern Rolex caliber is that there is a considerable drop in amplitude after 24 hours because it has 1 barrel. But Omega largely sidesteps that issue by using 2 barrels. 39 jewels. It features Côte de Genève in spiraled arabesque with blackened rather than blued or polished screws, and it beats away at a coaxial specific and somewhat quirky 25,200 vibration per hour beat rate. Now, this watch, handsome, versatile, and a little bit more universal than the rotating bezel sports watches, is a choice piece among Seamasters. The Aqua Terra sometimes becomes the forgotten man between the Diver 300s of Bond and the Planet Oceans at the top of the line, but this is easily the most versatile and universal choice among them. See it and make it yours on the watch box. Omega Seamaster Aqua Terra, Masters Green, Blue by Night.